This video accompanies lecture 6.5 L3, and the name of this lecture is a little oddly named, to be honest with you. It's called Larger Molecules in Their Secondary Shape. That is at the very fringe of what a fundamental understanding would be. So this whole first page here does not talk about large molecules in their secondary shape. Rather, this whole first page is introducing students to what's called the hydrogen bond. And the hydrogen bond is a type of intermolecular force, and that we have talked a lot about in class. So let me shade a couple of key terms. Intermolecular force, I feel we've talked a lot about that in class, and the hydrogen bond is a particular intermolecular force that we want you to be able to spot. And the importance of the hydrogen bond is that it plays a huge role in biology. So I'm going to zoom in on one of our favorite substances in chemistry, which is water. And I think students ought to be able to identify the individual water molecules. So I'd like to be able to ask in class, how many water molecules do you see? And the answer would be 5 water molecules. And they are here, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then it's reasonable to ask, what are those dashed segments that are connecting each of those 5 molecules? And those dashed segments are called intermolecular forces. So here I will underline intermolecular forces. They are present in ice water and they are present in liquid water. And by the time you put enough energy into the system, your sample of water, if you put a lot of energy into your system, the water molecules start moving so fast that they break these intermolecular forces and you won't see the dashed line segments, and you will have water as a gas. So in the solid, liquid, gas phases, you will find intermolecular force connecting the molecules of the solid, and you will find intermolecular forces connecting the molecules in the liquid, but in a gas you will not have intermolecular forces. So this diagram is intending to represent either a liquid or a gas for water. Okay. So what makes this a hydrogen bond? We're learning about this hydrogen bond because it plays a significant role in biology. All right, so hydrogen bond is a type of intermolecular force. Now that strikes me as a little odd because hydrogen bond contains the word bond. And what we've studied is that bonds are within a molecule. So how can we have something that's an intermolecular force, meaning it's going molecule to molecule, and yet we're still going to call it a type of bond, if you will? And I think I can blame the biology folks for that one. Again, because the hydrogen bond plays such a large role in the shapes of large molecules. We chemists have to deal with this oddly named intermolecular force called the hydrogen bond. But the hydrogen bond is always going to be these dashed lines between molecules if other conditions apply as well. All right, what are those other conditions? So what I look for when I'm looking at a representation of a substance, I am looking for an H on one molecule bonded to an F, a O, or an N on its neighbor molecule. Again, when I'm given a diagram of a substance and I'm scanning it, I look for an H on one molecule bonded to an F, a O, or an N on a neighbor molecule, and that's a tip-off to it being a hydrogen bond. And I remember those F, O, and N because it kind of spells fun, and this is fun to do, but it's really fun and not fun. But that's how I remember those atoms when it's been a little while since I've done this part of the course. So moving down to the bottom of this first page, there were substances, and what we would do in class is we would talk about, hey, find the hydrogen bond. So in this first one, hydrogen fluoride, the molecules themselves are hydrogen fluoride. The HF here, that's a molecule. The HF here, that's a molecule. But, and I guess I'll switch pen colors here. What I see here is the H of one molecule, intermolecular force attracted to the F of another molecule. So that right there is the hydrogen bond. Moving to the middle diagram, those are 2 water molecules. And so let me circle the water molecules. That's a water molecule, and that's a water molecule. And they are held together by covalent bonds. But I've also got this dash, dash, dash going between the molecules. And what I happen to have there is an H of one water molecule intermolecular force attracted to an O in another one. So that satisfies that H bonded to an F, O, or N. That satisfies it, so that's the hydrogen bond there. And here on this last diagram, I've got 3 ammonia molecules, but what I see there is I see an H of one molecule intermolecular force attracted to the N of a neighbor molecule. So that's a hydrogen bond. Here again is an H of one ammonia, hydrogen bond attracted, or intermolecular force attracted to the N of a neighbor molecule. That's a hydrogen bond. So what I've done in these 3 diagrams is I've given you an example of an H intermolecular force attracted to an F, an H intermolecular force attracted to an O, and an H intermolecular force attracted to an N. And so all of those are hydrogen bonds. All right, let's find the next page. This is where, to be honest, this is like 5% of the test. So the focus should be the student identifying hydrogen bonds. Of lesser concern is seeing their application in biology, but it's interesting. So let's take a look at it. What we have here is we have a huge biological molecule. So you've heard of DNA, which is a double helix. This looks like something related to that. It looks like a single helix because it looks like a spiral staircase. It's a huge molecule. And so in chemistry, we often talk about what's called the primary structure of molecules, much like what you see here. So this looks like stuff that we've been doing in class. You can see the covalent bonds. You can see the double bond down here with the carbon to the oxygen. So that's what we deal with in chemistry. But when you make a molecule that's huge, it starts to wrap over upon itself. And those are more your large biological molecules. And it's important in biology if molecules maintain their shape. So what we have here in this is hydrogen bonding within the molecule. So again, the chemist likes to talk about molecule to molecule intermolecular forces because chemists generally deal with nice small molecules. But in biology, your molecules get so big that they start to wrap around each other, and yet shape is important. So how one part of the molecule is able to attract another is key to biology. And how that often occurs is the hydrogen bond. So what it looks like we see here is we see an oxygen atom that's attracted to, that's the dash, 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 a hydrogen atom on a different part of the molecule. Well, that right there, the biologist and the chemist will call a hydrogen bond. But it is within the molecule, but it helps the big biological molecule maintain its shape. Let's see if there are any other examples here. Okay, so it would take me too long to type these answers in down here, but let me talk about them. Why are hydrogen bonds needed in larger molecules of biology? It's to hold the big molecule together so it maintains its secondary structure. And then number 2 says the diagram of the large molecule above shows an oxygen atom on one part of the molecule attracted to another atom on a different part. What must this other atom be? Well, it's labeled as a hydrogen bond, so I know that other atom must be a hydrogen. Because if the oxygen is here and on one part of the molecule, then it must be attracted to a hydrogen on that different part of that large molecule. That satisfies what we're looking for, the H bonded to the F, the O, or the N. And in this case, it would be the H bonded to the O. So I'm going to rush through the last part of it a little bit. Please remember that the biology application is not central to the chemistry test. What's central to the chemistry test is more these problems down here where the student needs to identify hydrogen bonds among the small molecules that chemists mostly use. Thank you.